Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast. This is episode 26. I am Jessica Delmar. I assist in strengthening your knowledge of who you truly are as a powerful creator being during these powerfully shifting times. Today we are going to be talking all about this August new moon and the powerful shifts that are opening up for everyone upon the planet. This is a collective energy reading, so just generally going on in the collective right now, there's a lot of resetting of energy. There's a lot of renewal of energy. There's powerful shifts happening and taking place. And there are 4 themes that came through for this new moon, and they are to reset, refocus, renew, and restore. All of these energies, powerful energy waves happening right now on the planet with this new moon energy, especially following this Lionsgate portal. So the Lionsgate really opened up a new cycle for everyone, a whole new yearly cycle, if you will. And so this new moon kicking off following this Lionsgate portal is really opening and entering that new doorway, stepping through this new doorway into this new cycle of energy to embrace it. But you have to consciously receive all of these renewing energies, the resetting energies, the refocusing energies, the restoring energies. So this message very much is bringing your awareness and your consciousness back to this integration and the waves of energy opening on the planet. So I'm just going to go ahead and read what came through. So again, there are 4 themes for this new moon. The first theme that we're going to talk about is refocus. There's a lot of duality rising in the collective consciousness. As it rises in the collective consciousness, it also rises within you if you hold any attachments to duality. A lot of this rising energy is past wound and trauma energy in the form of grief and sadness. Understand that grief and sadness and darkness give way to expansion and awakening if you allow yourself to let that energy rise from within you and release through you. This will ultimately give way towards diving deeper into deeper layers and opening the eyes to more awakening. But if you hold tight to this energy as it rises from within you, you will only stifle your own expansion and awakening. Refocus is about acknowledging the pain, the heartbreak, the loss, the sadness, the grief, or any other dark energy rising from within you. But it's not about attaching to that energy, holding tight, or playing victim to that energy as it rises within you. This energy rises from within you in order to get your attention into the space of what you do want. So when unwanted energy rises from within you, shift your focus not on attaching to this unwanted energy, but softening your connection to it by offering it compassion, unconditional love, and forgiveness. This will open space for you to release this duality energy or this dark energy and embrace movement towards what you do want. So from here, you shift your focus into what you do want. Remember, releasing deep trauma and wounds and darkness held in the heart opens space for awakening and for remembering what your heart truly wants. As you release the pain and sadness from your heart begins beating more in alignment to its true nature, and your soul passions, your soul desires, and your soul intentions can begin shining through. So that was refocus. The next theme is to renew. When a person holds on too tightly to attachments, it creates death. This is because those who hold tight to attachments do not value the infinite nature of that which they are attached to, but instead put their value on the physical, mental, or emotional manifestation. So when that physical, mental, or emotional manifestation ceases to exist, death becomes them. But this is simply illusion. Attachment holds illusion as the eye of the beholder. Release your grip of attachment, and instead of fearing death or separation, you will embrace the open web of infinite nature. Renewal comes with perspective, and shifting your perspective from separation to infiniteness will create a new frequency upon which you view the world. So that was the renewal theme. The next theme is to reset. You are opening into a new stage of your ascension, a new doorway. However, that feeling that you may be feeling of hopelessness and defeat, which you may interpret as something holding you back or preventing you from moving forward, is actually a very important key in moving forward. Any feelings that you may be feeling of contrast, stagnation, defeat, or hopelessness are simply indications that you are being pushed up against the door, because you have outgrown your current phase and are now opening into a new phase, or more so, your soul is calling you to move into this new phase, but your physical is kind of being pushed up against the door, not knowing what to do next. Many people interpret these feelings as absolute, and so they give these feelings their focus and their attention, only creating a stronger bond and a stronger cycle to these vibrational feelings. These feelings are only meant as a message to tell you that you have outgrown one phase of your life and are at the door to open a new phase. But you must integrate the message that these feelings are trying to tell you in order to unlock the doorway in front of you. So you might ask, what is the message of these feelings? The message is that you are opening expansion despite what you may feel as contraction. And contraction gives way to expansion if you allow it to. Use your contracting energies to birth what it is that you do want, rather than focusing on what you do not want. The next stone has been laid out for you to step on, but you must shift your focus to the next stone in order to jump on it. If you continue focusing on the stone that you're standing on, which is getting smaller and smaller or feeling like it's getting smaller and smaller due to you outgrowing it, if you continue focusing on the stone that you're standing on, you're not lifting your head up to see the next stone in front of you. Reset your mindset about where you are right now. You may find that you're not necessarily where you think you are, but rather simply being prepared to jump to the next stone in front of you. Reset your mindset when contracting thoughts and feelings come up for you. They're not coming up for you to hold on to, but they're coming up to tell you that you are not receiving or allowing the energies of the next phase to open up for you. And your resistance is what opens these conflicting or contrasting feelings, emotions, and thoughts. So that was the third theme, reset. The fourth theme of this new moon is restore. This new moon opens opportunity for restoration of the self aspect. In other words, restoration of who you truly are, your consciousness of who you truly are. Not as a physical being having a lowly physical experience, but as a non-physical spiritual being having a tremendously ascending physical experience upon Gaia. Restore who you truly are, and your true self will make itself known to you. Meaning, surrender to all, everything playing out in your experience, whether it's good or bad. Surrender to all. Sink into the current and allow it to take you where it wants you to go without resisting. Meaning, resistance always inhibits change. And so, for as long as you are resisting, you are only holding yourself back. Resistance is any form of pushing against, and surrender is all forms of flow, ease, and allowance. You may say, well, when someone does something wrong, the right thing would be to push against that person. Well, you may think so in your society that harbors resistance as change. This is a program in your society that says if you push against, if you argue against, you're going to create change in some way. But you have to understand that the change that comes from resistant actions is change that breeds more resistance. And so you do not release your grip from bondage through resistance, but you only cycle within more resistance and bondage through what you would call mask change. But when someone does something which you would consider wrong, the best way to elevate yourself above the situation or above the vibrational layer of the wrongness of the situation is to surrender your energy into the current of positive electrical charge. You see, the persons, or situations involved in what you would call wrongness is most likely riding the current of negative electrical charge. Your planet is currently integrating an electromagnetic grid of 5D, and that electromagnetic grid allows for electrons to move into neutrons and dispel negative charge into neutral charge. I just want to say that this information is just what came through in the writing. I'm not sure if it is scientifically correct or if it was just shown to me and brought through in terms of trying to understand something. So take it with open-mindedness, and again, this is just what came through in writing. So again, your planet is currently integrating an electromagnetic grid of 5D, and that electromagnetic grid allows for electrons, which are negatively charged, to move into neutrons, which are neutral energy, and dispel negative charge into neutral charge. And when neutral charge upon the planet aligns with 5D frequency, the planet experiences a beast of positively charged protons that create a blast of energy throughout the planet's electromagnetic field and restores frequency of source within the planet's atmosphere and web of interwoven life upon the planet. So, just to kind of recap this, what it was showing me in my mind's eye is basically all of this negative energy rising upon the planet, as well as within your individual experiences, are rising in order for that negative energy or negative charged energy to be transmuted. And so right now, if you meet or receive any of that negatively charged energy, with negatively charged energy from your end, so you're feeding energy, basically you're feeding that negative energy, you're just perpetuating that negative charge that's surfacing. But now is a very powerful time to transmute that negative charged energy. So we do that through our power of transmutation, our ability to move and elevate our vibrational frequency where we vibrate at, to move above those layers of negatively charged energy and open this sort of neutral space for what will come through a little bit later is for basically life force energy within this electromagnetic grid to do its job when you allow surrendering. The human experience and the ability for the human to practice and integrate resistance is kind of what goes against, it prevents that life force energy from moving through that electromagnetic grid and doing its job, doing its divine work, if you will. It has its own mind. It's connected to the greater source creator that will energetically shift things powerfully in your experience. But then the human mind comes in and takes over, if you will. It wants to control the situation. It wants to control the playing out of things. And so it dispels that greater source energy from trying to work its magic, its life force energy in the grid, while human consciousness takes over. And so now is a powerful time for surrender to open up on the planet in order to allow that greater source energy, life force energy to move through that electromagnetic grid and start shifting, transmuting those negatively charged energy fields that's emerging at this time and transmuting them into neutral energy. And it kind of showed me like this Pac-Man type of energy of neutral energy just gobbling up all of the electrons, which essentially are, if you think of electrons, neutrons, and protons, electrons are much smaller than neutrons and protons. And so those neutrons are kind of like gobbling those electrons up, integrating them, transmuting them into this neutral space. And then what happens when there becomes less and less of those electrons or negatively charged energy that is rising is the protons, or the positively charged energy, which is those light workers who are able to elevate themselves above those negatively charged situations by holding that greater perspective. Then all of that light energy sweeps upon the planet. This great big wave is able to open up on the planet and restore the planet's ability to receive more of that life force, source giving energy throughout the planet's atmosphere. And we're going to talk more. We've been talking about this sort of gut energy upon the planet, the dark rising energy, the importance of the sun energy coming to the earth. In the next episode, I hope I'm going to speak more about the sun's energy and the barrier around the planet that was keeping negative energy, low vibrational energy within the planet's atmosphere, the planet not being able to receive all of that sun source giving life through that barrier. So this is very much about the breaking down of that barrier, the restoration of the planet's ability to receive more of that source goodness and source life-giving energy. So this is very much confirming that information, and we'll talk more about that in the next video, about the Earth's barrier and more about the sun energy. So going back to this restoration wave of energy opening up on the planet, to put it simply, surrendering means taking hold of your power to create and energetically elevating above any negative situation so that you are not feeding the negative situation or the electrons. When you do not feed a negative energy charge, you open space for the negative energy charge to be consumed by the neutral energy charge, the greater neutral energy charge upon the planet. When you open space between you and the negative person or situation, you allow divine source energy to accelerate change by using the interwoven electromagnetic earth grid to feed you by lifting you above the energetic situation and essentially squashing the negative situation with neutral energy. This all takes place because of your intentions to surrender to higher power, meaning your intentions are so powerful at this time. And your intention to surrender with the intent of bringing forth higher power to kind of open up change with that greater divine alignment is what then allows for this greater change to happen with more of that source flow energy rather than a human's desire to control the situation or fall victim to a situation. So surrender and helplessness, because some people may not understand what surrender really feels like, you have to understand that surrender and helplessness are not the same thing. Helplessness is powerlessness. Surrender is empowerment. And so a person in a negative situation often feels powerless and helpless, thus feeding more of the negative energetic charge of the situation that they're in. But if the person can pull inner empowerment through from within, enough to open surrender to higher power and strength within the self aspect as a powerful creator being, then the person will open the electromagnetic grid to work for them and create the energy change of the situation. A powerful wave of energy is being offered with this new moon to restore who you truly are by reintegrating inner empowerment through surrender and releasing powerlessness and hopelessness. When this powerful shift happens within you, you will notice powerful shifts in the world around you. You will notice shifts in the manifestations that show up for you. And most importantly, you will notice shifts in how you respond to all types of situations from here on out. And that's what came through for this powerful new moon and the changes happening, the shifts that we're going through, this powerful new door that we're stepping through to receive and embrace this next phase of our experience, this next phase of our ascension. So if you've been feeling that pull or that sense, that feeling towards resetting, refocusing, renewing, restoring, reintegrating, there's so much of this new energy being folded in. So surrender into that energy and allow for it to take you and sweep you in the direction that it wants you to go. As you do that, of course, there's going to be things that come up for you in order to make space to then for you to further move in that direction. So those things that come up for you, if it feels negatively charged, if it feels lower vibrational, again, it's just trying to make space within you. It's trying to get you further and further through that door, through your recognition that first of all, you're releasing things that have been holding you down or have been weighing more heavily upon your vibration. So now you're lightening your vibration. But also B, it's that greater message physically or rather emotionally manifesting for you to let you know that you're releasing something in order to step through this next door. So it's a big opportunity to expand in your consciousness through that realization, through that greater understanding of what's really going on. And again, not holding too tightly, not having so much of an attachment to the things that are coming up for you, and just simply surrendering and allowing for the flow to take you to where it wants you to go. And also in regards to this renewal energy, a lot of you may start feeling in your personal experiences changes and shifts in terms of bringing in new energy. So if you own a business or if you are in a relationship or whatever, there's going to be something new that's being folded in, or something like the energy wants you to refocus or pivot your energy or something. It's like, follow me, follow me, follow me. And it's kind of shifting from where you think you're headed or where you think you are into this whole new thing. And another thing coming through is I know a lot of people have also been feeling the pull to move. So, even starting someplace new, moving someplace new, it can manifest in many different forms. So just move with where energy is taking you. Do not be afraid of change. Again, this falls into the fear energy that we spoke about in the last episode. It's like fear energy will prevent that greater current from taking you where it wants you to go. So allow yourself to just be open to change, be open to being flexible and adaptable. Something small, something big, it doesn't matter. There's change happening, there's renewal happening, there's restoration happening, new focus, resetting happening. And so allow yourself to move in that direction, and you'll be at the hands of your greater source connection. So that's what wanted to come through in this video. Happy new moon. Embrace the power of this new moon. Write down your intentions of flow. What do you feel like? What are you flowing with right now? Where do you feel called to? What renewal is calling to you? Be open, stay open. Again, do not fear change, but really receive and embrace change. Embrace your ability to adapt. Thank you everyone for being here and for listening in and for all of your support. This podcast can now be found on all podcast platforms, so listen and subscribe on Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and as always on YouTube. Thank you again for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, all is truly well. Oneness, love, and peace be with you.